today I'm going to be presenting the Odisha case study, which is the outside of UK coastal case study in AQA A-level geography in the coasts topic. So the specification says that you need to know a contrasting coastal landscape beyond the UK to illustrate basically the same things as the local case study. So the location is a coastline that is 485 kilometers along the Bay of Bengal in the Indian Ocean, and has a few natural inlets and harbors. It is east of the Indian Peninsula. It is the 9th largest state by area in India. The Odisha coastal plains support the bulk of the state's population, and the wide range of coastal and marine flora and fauna. There is 1,435 kilometers squared of mangrove forests, which, as you'll see, are pretty important. So some opportunities for human occupation and development. The Odisha's coastal zone, wide variety of marine and coastal flora and fauna, including mangroves, seagrasses, salt marshes, sand dunes, estuaries, and lagoons. There's large stocks of fish, seagrass, meadows, and abundant seaweed. Local people employed in coastal fishing and increasingly in aquaculture, e.g. shrimp fishing. Since there has been a fishing ban by the coast in order to increase biodiversity in the area, the ICZM project, which, if you remember, ICZM stands for the Integrated Coastal Zone Management, has been given financial support to 600 self-help groups in 80 fishing villages and to 45,000 fisherfolk. There has been an introduction by the ICZMP of eco-friendly solar dryers for hygienic drying fish in preparation of value-added fishery products. And there are also, to add on to the opportunities of human occupation, there's opportunities for offshore oil and natural gas and seabed mining. So in terms of tropical cyclones and their recovery by the ICZMP, Cyclone Phelan, probably said it wrong, in October 2013, which had wind speeds of 200 kilometers per hour. 1 million people were evacuated from high-risk areas. 44 people died, many thousands were affected, with building damages and economic activity disrupted. 500,000 hectares of agricultural crops were destroyed. Economic losses close to $70,000. Chilika Lake, which is a lagoon, had a storm surge that may take the ecosystem a year to recover from. Thousands of mangrove forests were destroyed, and the ICZMP, in order to increase biodiversity, they had taken up mangrove plantation along the banks of tidal creeks and general plantations, e.g. in Ganjam and the Chilika area. Also, the ICZMP established a wetland and research training center at Burkle for continuous monitoring of water quality, physical, chemical, biological parameters of the lake. Managing the Odisha coastline. The coast of Odisha is largely accreting at 46.8%. with 36.8% eroding and 14.4% stable. When you're using this in a case study, you can just round the numbers. It's probably easier. Most accretion is focused on the major deltas. Deltas are defined as rivers splitting into smaller ones before entering the sea. So most erosion is in the south. Major structures such as seawalls, breakwaters, and rock armor are protecting infrastructure, mainly the ports. This has interfered with natural processes, exacerbating the rates of erosion. Dense mangrove vegetation of Kendrapa shows levels of accretion that are above or greater than 50% higher than anywhere else on the coast. Some examples of where the coast was managed was in, these names are gonna kill me, Parathi. Port city of Odisha is undergoing rapid industrialization and urbanization that led to 50 metric tons of waste put into the city, with no scientific method to treat the waste. However, the ICZMP is establishing a solid waste treatment plant in the city. Penta, which is an agricultural village. The coast in this village has been continuously eroded over the past few years. The existing embankments are very vulnerable to the sea water intrusion. The ICZMP is implementing a 670-meter geotube embankment, which is an example of soft engineering. Some risks of human occupation and development. So in 2011, the Ministry of Environment and Forest assessed that the rates of erosion increased in recent years, partly through the natural processes, but also as a consequence of human intervention methods which have been used to protect infrastructure. And this is a really cool quote that he had said. Attempting to halt natural coastal processes with seawalls and other hard structures only shifts the problem, subjecting downdrift coastal areas to similar losses. Without sediment transport, some beaches, dunes, barrier beaches, salt marshes are threatened and would disappear as the sand sources that feed/sustain them are eliminated. So the Indian government are worried with increasing vulnerability of coast communities to storm surges and tsunamis, as well as long-term threats posed by climate change and sea level rise. The Odisha coastline is a naturally changing environment. Erosion provides inputs of sediment that, once transferred along the coast by waves, tides, and currents, is deposited to form beaches, dunes, and barrier beaches. The natural seasonal variation occurs along the coast. Accretion occurs in the summer during relatively low energy wave conditions, and erosion in the winter when high energy destructive waves come and deposit sediment offshore. So that was all. Here are some past exam questions. If you've watched my Holderness Coast video, then now you could answer the first question. And yeah, those are all the questions I found. Thank you.